Welcome to my basement, everybody, and Scott Jones, too.
Hey, Scott's not here today. This is Arthur Fonzarelli, otherwise known as the Fonz. Hey, Mrs. C, can you put a plate on for me? I'll come in and eat with you and the Cunningham family tonight.
Hey, making it 100% cooler.
Hey, my office is a bathroom. Come on in. I sound like Andrew Dice Clay.
You do.
Man, we can do impressions of... Oh, my Luigi card just fell over. We can do impressions of anyone. We can do anyone
except Vin Diesel.
Except for Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
How you doing, Vic?
Well established. I'm great. I'm a little groggy. We're in between stops here. We're not in your...
how I ask you a question, then I go right to, so listen, because I'm not listening to what you're saying. No,
how you doing, Vic? I don't care. So listen.
Hey,
no.
Mrs. C, so tell everyone why you're groggy
I'm
today.
groggy because we just got back from Montreal, and we're here for about a millisecond, and then we're getting on another plane, and we're going to Japan.
Poor us.
I know, right?
You know?
Yeah, and then...
traveling to exotic locations, trying strange foods.
We got to take out some industrial espionage agents.
And
then we travel on to our next mission.
I'm sure we're on some national security list after all this weird traveling we're doing. All you have to do is follow the paper trail of our credit cards. But listen, how is your, first of all, how's your French? And then second of all, how's your Japanese? Because you're going to need both.
How do you say shitty in both languages? Merdy.
Both are merdy. Hey, you forgot to mention our sponsor.
Our sponsor is Sony PlayStation and the PlayStation 4. It's PlayStation Canada specifically, and we heart you. We love you.
Guess what?
And what was cool is that while we were in Montreal, they were in Montreal showing off the PlayStation 4.
We didn't spend a lot of time with them. I ran into them one night, and they said, hey, let's meet up for drinks and dinner later around 9:30. I'm like, I've been in bed for an hour or so by 9:30.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You guys know me. Fill out.
I've got crosswords. I've got some my Leonard Cohen websites to visit and update. All of my fan sites.
Multiple Leonard Cohen websites.
Shut up. So I just want Sony to know this at the outset of today's podcast. We have already cleared a space for our PlayStation 4 down in the basement whenever you want to come and install it.
I dusted.
We dusted. Vic's mom came down here, and she threw out some of the hustlers.
That's one dust-free place in the basement.
That's right. That's the only dust-free place right now. So the PlayStation 4, Sony, if you're out there and you're listening, Mr. or Mrs. Sony, we are ready for you to be delivered to us so we're ready for the future.
We are ready for the next generation.
Yeah, we're ready for the beautiful portal to open to the future in the basement down
100%.
here. So, and whenever it's down here, we're going to, no doubt we're going to be able to talk about it. This is what I think the PlayStation 4 is going to sound like when you turn it on. And that's the sound you're going to make when it turns on. That was the creepiest sound I've ever heard you make. Now listen, I'm wary of your creepy sounds because we just found out that we're sharing a hotel room
what
for
the
one
hell?
night.
I thought we were big league TV stars.
I thought Ryan was joking when he told us this. I have managed to live through 5 years of TV production and I know I've been spoiled because you guys used to share hotel rooms all the time.
There used to be 8 of us in our hotel room all the time.
But this is the first time that you and I will have to share a hotel room together. Right. And I hope that we just don't mix up our toupees and I put on yours in the morning and you put on mine.
Mine's the blondish one. Listen, Montreal was pretty phenomenal.
I had a great time.
Different culture completely.
I loved it. I want to move there.
I like the mix and the mash of, I'm talking specifically about the video game industry, but we talked about the, the food and all that stuff was amazing. Anywhere you went to eat out there was crazy.
Great food, filled with butter and salt. I swear we took 3 or 4
I know, I kept asking for skim milk and I kept getting laughed at in my face.
Yeah. Like, fool.
Slapped me with the baguette. But all the video game stuff, it was really interesting to see that there is this pool, there is this awareness of everybody else's business there. There's there's a community. You can feel it. You can feel that they all talk to each other and that they hang out with each other. We talked with producers that had worked at a different company and they talked about friends that they still had at another company and there's collaborations and possible reconnections and it just felt vital. It felt thriving. And it was different. It was a different vibe than what we're feeling currently in Vancouver, which is a little bit on the ropes, a little bit of, we don't know what these new changes are going to be. Let's rally around the indie kind of world around the development scene here in Vancouver. But in Montreal, it's it's a different bustle, man, and it was cool. It was cool to kind of see that.
How quiet it is here.
Yeah.
Until I was in Montreal, and you're right. This is what this city used to be like. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I know no one wants to hear it. This is what Vancouver was like 4 or 5 years ago. And I used to say this all the time when I first moved here. This was like living in Santa's workshop.
Right.
Every game. I remember playing Punch-Out on the Wii, getting the copy delivered, taking it home, playing it, and realizing that Next Level, who made Punch-Out, was about a block and a half from where I was living at the time.
And they've had a killer year with Luigi's Mansion. They're still doing fine.
They have, but that used to happen all the time.
Right.
And then to go to, all these different neighborhoods, we went to a couple of different studios there, and just seeing, it's not just that the game community is thriving there. The other thing I realized about being in Montreal this time, and I've been a few times over the course of my life, I used to go to Montreal when I was a kid and things like that, but really realizing and appreciating the density of artists there, and the density of and the talent of the artistic community there, and the way that that's feeding into all the stuff that studios like Ubisoft and Eidos and Warner Brothers are making there. All of those artists.
And we visited Ubisoft, and holy shit! I mean, it's unrelenting.
First of all, it's in an old blue jeans factory, which I learned when I was there, which is beautiful.
It's like creativity is seeping through every crack and frame of the joint. And that's just one of the studios that they have there. They have a bunch of different offices, but you can feel this. I think this internal competition is kind of a palpable thing when you go there. It's like each one of these teams is trying to outdo the other one, and so much incredible work is coming up over the next few years from these guys.
Well, the other thing that we realized being out there this time is just how many people from the video game community have become transplants. People who were reminiscing and very happy to see us coming from Vancouver and being in Montreal, wanting to reminisce and talk about life in Vancouver, and talking about things like learning French and working with these different this different development atmosphere that's out there, it was really exciting to be out there. It felt vital.
It's a culture dunk.
There's a pulse. There's
a culture dunk.
There's a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously we spent a lot of time in old Montreal. We walked the hell out of those streets out there, and it's beautiful. I took a ton of pictures and put them all up on the internet. But
you know what I was thinking this morning? I can't wait until you're in your dotage and you have your first gallery show of all of your photographs from over the years.
I am starting to really dig taking photos, man. I got to tell you.
I know this is the only time I've seen you actually have a hobby that is not game related.
Yeah, I love it. I love taking photos. I bought that camera to take better pictures of my daughter, and I just love taking pictures, man.
You do this all the time. We'll be sitting somewhere, and I'll be eating like a croissant or something, and you'll say, all right, here, just hold still, and you'll suddenly put this camera in my face, and I'll just be like, Vic, come on.
Enough.
I spend so much of my life with a camera in my face.
I know.
And then you show me the pictures, and then I'm like, okay, just do it. Just get it over with. Then you have to show me all, like 10 pictures, and like one of them is maybe okay.
I know, because I'm not very good. I'm just learning.
Well, no, it's not your fault. It's just my stupid face.
Well, I'm still. I looked at a lot of the photos that I took off that camera, and they're not very good. I've got 1 for 10 that I like.
Come on, some of them are pretty good.
But I love it. I love taking the pictures, and it's fun. And God, man, Montreal had so much to take a picture of.
What a beautiful city, man.
Yeah.
What a beautiful
My daughter
city.
had a great time too. I took my family, and Ruby was experiencing the city and the music and the kids. And
she learned how to say party hard in French.
She was saying party time the whole time.
Party time.
I don't know.
I thought it was party hard. I don't know why.
It started as party hardy, and I don't know who taught her that.
It was party hardy?
Yeah. Party hardy, and then it was party time. And I don't know what she was having a blast. We put her on one of those horse and carriage things. Did you do one of those all by yourself?
What am I going to do all by myself? I'm going to get in a horse and carriage and just ride around? Like, how creepy is that?
Hey, ladies.
Je m'appelle Scott Jones.
Hey, speaking of the PlayStation 4, though, the new Killzone game is coming for that.
The what is?
Killzone Shadowfall, I think, is the full name for it.
Okay.
And I forgive me if I got the name wrong. I don't have the internet in my face right now. But I'm looking forward to the game, especially after playing Mercenaries, the Killzone Mercenaries game on the Vita. You haven't got your copy running properly yet.
I can't get it working. Now, I just noticed this morning, I'm so irritated. I got some sort of weird error, like error 10-77. It stopped downloading.
You got to re-download the whole
I asked
thing.
them to send to see if I could get another code.
But the game is beautiful. I think I'd take back that comment about Rayman Legends being the best looking game I've seen on the Vita. I think this is the thing. I mean, it's absolutely stunning on this machine. So gorgeous.
All right. Well, listen, I'm trying to, the question always with any first-person shooter is there heart and soul? Is it just killing and headshots and running around? Is there story? Is there something I'm going to care about?
Not really.
Because you look at Rayman Legends and there's stuff to care about in there.
Do. It's charming, right? I mean, there's a heart and soul in that game for sure.
Endearing.
Killzone Legend. Or Killzone Legend is
I want to play Killzone Legend. Yeah.
That'll be out in 5 years. No, but Killzone Mercenaries is really cut and dry. You go in on missions and you kill everybody. But you get a cool wingsuit. You get to fly into your missions.
I don't care.
And it looks beautiful.
All right.
It's
well,
like the
that's not enough.
Abrams version of.
That's not enough.
And a portable
it's not enough.
I know it's not enough, but it is amazing to see the visuals like this in the palm of your hand, popping out at your face like that. It's like I've been, walking around with this portable console, and that was what was announced while we were out there too. Was the portable Vita?
Yeah, you can plug it right into your TV screen.
Yeah, not the portable Vita, the mini Vita console, which we don't get until next year. I think.
So wait a second, this is just it doesn't have a screen on it.
Well, they have a new Vita, which is lighter, and we're going to see that in Tokyo this week when we go out there.
This is too many. How many Vitas do I need?
Lots of Vitas, and this comes in multiple rainbow colors, and then the Vita console is exactly what the Vita is without the screen for $100. So it's kind of like chasing the Ouya kind of market.
I don't think there's anywhere to chase the Ouya but down. I'm sorry.
I know, man.
It hasn't really lifted off.
I didn't show you this.
What do you got there?
I got this.
What do you got down in the basement? Usually you show me everything.
Hold on.
All right. Well, this is show and tell, but this is a medium that doesn't have any visuals.
You'll have to be very descriptive.
Vic, put your shirt on. Jesus, I don't know what that is.
Look at this nipple.
That looks infected.
No, it's okay. My Batwing thumb grips for my Ouya controllers came.
I'll put that in the garbage.
Finally, my Ouya, insignia version, my custom-made
Oh,
Ouya
this is what you've been waiting for. Okay, this is so they had to make these.
They had to make it separately,
and then send them to you separately.
Finally arrived just as the console is becoming
as everyone
irrelevant.
was putting the Ouya into the garbage.
And I hate to say that because I was a backer and I was pretty excited, but it
doesn't do us any favors, right? It doesn't make our lives any easier. We need these things to soar. We need them to take off. We need them to be successful. And they tried hard. To work with manufacturers and to get a console out the door, especially in that scale.
I don't know
that's
what the
tough.
sales are like. I don't know.
I saw a guy walking down Robson with one the other day.
Oh yeah, in the box or
just carrying it around. He had it in the box. He was coming from one of the local retailers.
It's selling everywhere. I mean, they have.
I don't know if it's still selling everywhere. He was the only person I've ever seen walking around with one.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to hear from people. If you bought an Ouya, I want to hear. Post underneath the comments on this.
Let's plan this.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks, once we're back and some of the travel has.
We got to have Matt Thorson on this thing.
Well, we got to have Julie Ormond back. Is that her name?
Sure. Yeah. No, Julie Ormond is
She's
an
the
actor.
Actress.
Yeah. She was in Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt.
Sorry,
we should have her on. Erman.
Julie Urban.
Is that right?
That sounds right.
Yes, right.
We're assholes. But let's have her back on and let's do a postmortem on the Ouya because it does feel like they've met some challenges head on. I'm trying to be diplomatic here, but other challenges have kind of overwhelmed them.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of buzz and excitement around it for a while, but then as soon as we got to E3 and there was an Xbox One or an Xbone and the PlayStation 4 were announced and they were on the calendar, that was kind of it. I don't think people were ready to go out and spend $100. They'd rather put that $100 towards the new consoles.
Well, it doesn't help Ouya that these guys have really made it their mission to chase indie development like crazy.
Well, they're not dummies.
And same with Steam as well, And honestly, this Vita console is, it's an Ouya crusher. It's not just a killer. It's like it stomps on it and says, you are dead. And the rumor is now that because there's 64-bit architecture in the new iPhone, which is way more than you need in a phone, that's a lot of horsepower that you could run
I don't know what language you're speaking.
You could run a console if they put the same processor into the Apple TV revamp with some really good RAM numbers in there. They're going to have a very powerful machine that could run all of the iOS 7 apps. So every game that's ever come out for iPhone plus console quality, and I'm talking, PS3 and above quality graphics on an Apple TV, and because they're unlocking the Bluetooth sort of gates so that you can have controllers hooked up to this stuff, it's very possible that Apple is going to turn this quarter. Finally turn that key on their console.
Well, I think at some point they're going to have to.
They're going to have to because they want the living room, right? Like everybody's chasing the all-in-one box, and Apple, I think, is not stupid about that. They're going to make a decision.
I got to tell an embarrassing story. You know, I love embarrassing stories,
Yeah.
especially when I'm at the center of them.
Yeah, what happened?
Well,
Did you throw out a "Do you know who I am" in Montreal?
Of course I do. That's how I get into the Le Dance contact clubs. And they just turned me away immediately.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. We went up to. Can I say who this is? It was the guy who's the game director on Assassin's Creed.
Okay,
Black Flag.
Yeah.
His name is Ash Ismail.
Yeah. Why couldn't you say who he is?
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell what we got to do, but I got to play some of the games. So we sat down and he watches the shows and he knows us.
Yeah.
And he's a fan.
He used to be a fan of you. Yeah.
He used to be, exactly.
What did you do to him?
This is his game that he's been working on for 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't like doing demos. Generally, I try to avoid them.
Watching you, period.
What?
You don't like people watching you, period.
Depends on what I'm doing.
Okay, right.
If it's a sex show and I'm doing well and I'm going slow and then fast, it's okay. No, I'm only kidding. So I don't like doing game demos. I can never remember the controls. I can't learn them in 1 minute. And I don't, I haven't played Assassins in a year. And so this is his game, and I like this guy. I'm feeling a warm feeling from him. He's from Vancouver originally, or he lived here for a little while, and we're connecting. And then he's like, "So who wants to play the game?" I'm like, "Vic played it at E3. I guess I'll play it. I'll do my job." So they give me the controller, and I have to sit close to the screen, and I'm sitting in front of Vic, and our camera guy, producer Enzo, is there. And Ash Ismail's there, and I just get in one of the boats and go right into a fucking rock, and I just crash. And then I'm like, "Where's the reverse on this?" And I'm trying to reverse, and like all of a sudden, some enemy ships come in, and they're shelling me, and the screen is going black and flickering, and I'm losing sync. Crew is jumping ship, and he's like, and then he sees me struggling, and so he takes the controller. He's like, "Here, I'll get you on an island," and so he gets me into the island,
and then he puts on like actual ship training wheels onto your ship.
Let's just skip that part. He gets me to the island. I get on the island. All I do is run around, and I set off about 60 alarms. And now I've got about 400 red dots on the radar chasing me, and I'm hiding in like a hay bale in the woods, and they're just surrounding me, and I just look over at him, and at one point he's just rubbing his forehead.
Okay.
And I have completely
let me finish this embarrassing
brought shame on my house with my performance.
You brought
and I'm
shame
like,
on the house of EP and Reviews on the Run.
I swear to you, Ash, I love your game, and I love what you guys have done, and I'm sorry sorry for ruining.
Let me heap it on. Because I picked up your game from where you left
I don't know if this is true or not.
In the hail of, what is it? The bale of hay? The hay bale? The haystack?
It was a haystack.
Okay.
You can hide in haystacks.
I'm hiding in the haystack.
Yeah.
I get out. I kill everyone.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay.
And the other demo guy that was sitting with me, I think his name was Denis, or Daniel.
Yes.
He's like, "Wow, you're really good." That's my terrible French accent. But he was. He's like, "Oh, okay." He started to explain it to me, and they said,
very good.
You know how to play it. Oh, you've played this before. Killed everybody. Then I jumped into a ship.
What was it like? It was just like an old slaughterhouse in there, right? You just like bodies everywhere.
Bodies everywhere. And then I snuck up and I took out 4 guys in like one fluid, smooth motion. It was wonderful.
What?
It was amazing. I was going to every one of the red dots that was chasing you, killing them.
I don't know. I don't know.
And then I jumped on a ship and then went and started slaughtering everybody else with cannons. So I don't
know if there's any truth to this.
I brought back a lot of fame and glory to the house of EP.
I didn't see this with my own eyes, so I'm having a hard time accepting that this is fact.
I fixed what you broke, is what I'm saying.
I mean, that's been the story of the show since I joined it, really. You've just been cleaning up the messes that I make, and it's kind of what you used to do with Tommy as well, so it's what you do.
I just love Assassin's Creed. That was fun. That was a true highlight of our Montreal visit.
Well,
but we are skirting around the
what are we talking about?
Actual highlight of Montreal, and that was
the dance contact.
Well, that might have been yours.
The
But we
poutine
had,
at La
and
Banquise.
maybe that was part 2 for you. But the biggest big deal for me was getting to spend some quality time with Batman Arkham Origins. We got a nice demo. We found out more about the game.
Are we
got
supposed to talk about this? Yeah, I guess so. The embargo lifts on the 18th.
Yeah, we saw some incredible mocap that was utilized for some of the fight scenes in the thing, and those guys.
I don't care about all that. I'll
I
tell
know,
you what
but they
I care
kept
about.
doing the fight like 55 times. They were so sweaty
They
and
were
beat up.
athletes.
I know, but it was
They're great.
amazing to watch that.
You know what I like?
Yeah.
Meeting the people. And Ben Mattis.
Yes.
I was so happy to meet this guy.
He
He seemed so humble and grateful.
he was
I mean,
amazing to watch because he had to be on for about 50 interviews that day.
And he was great.
He was
He's going to
terrific.
be on the show about 700 times between now and when the game ships.
Well, he's going to be on our podcast
What? What are you talking about?
right now. Ben Matt, as the senior producer of Batman Arkham Origins, a game I'm incredibly excited about, is here with us in the basement. Actually, we're not in the basement.
No,
we're in an
Montreal.
awesome theater.
Yeah.
I wish my basement was this cool.
Yeah.
Seriously, this is the basement that all men should aspire towards having. A screen like that with seats like this and that many game consoles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, we're in the theater at Warner Brothers Montreal.
Climate controlled.
The Bat Basement, we're going to call it.
Yeah, the Bat Basement. I like it.
How are you feeling? You're almost finished on this
man,
game.
You're almost all grown up.
It's I'm all grossed up and I'm all grossed up. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I was telling you guys yesterday, I left last night and we've got our Jira dashboards and I like auto refresh every 5 seconds to see the bugs just dropping.
No
And
idea what you're talking about.
It hit 0, which meant there were no bugs left.
What?
No bugs left. And I went over and I talked to a couple other people, lead programmer and another producer, and I was like, so like no bugs, like 0 bugs. We have 0 bugs. Yep, we have 0 bugs. And I don't know if you guys remember, but yesterday there was that big sort of celebration that was happening over in the cafeteria there. That was the QA team, like celebrating the fact that we'd hit 0 bugs. So
That's awesome.
There was some robust cheering.
there
I've
was-
never heard a QA team celebrate the vanishing of all bugs from a video game
And
before.
laughing. What
Yes.
were they? Were they laughing at you?
always.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm like the running joke here.
So how did you get to be the guy? I mean, that's my question
A
for
guy.
you. 'Cause you're the guy. You're one of the guys.
I'm
One of the
one of
main
the
guys
guys.
on this game. And this wasn't your intention at all. You actually
No,
wanted to
yeah.
move into the more casual space.
Yeah, well, so I've told you guys that I was at Ubisoft before. So Prince of Persia 2008 was like my last big AAA console.
That's the one with all the scarves.
the
head scarves.
Prince of Persia.
I call it the Prince of San Diego.
Prince of
Because
San Diego.
Nolan North was the prince, and that
Hey,
felt
man,
weird.
don't knock Nolan North, man.
No, we love him.
You know what's
And
a
he's a
crazy?
great penguin.
There's a crazy story. Go onto Wikipedia
Yeah.
and look up Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Look up Harrison
He's done
Ford.
that before.
Look up Han Solo and then just report back.
All right.
I talked about Nolan North and Harrison Ford and Han Solo so much during the promotional campaign of Prince of Persia that I'm on the Wikipedia page for Han Solo. Like Ben Mattis, producer of Prince of Persia, referenced Han Solo, and like the cultural references part,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So I've won the internet now. Like I'm done. I can finich.
You had Prince of Persia explosion of headscarves,
Yep.
and then what happened after that?
So then myself and my core team spent actually a couple of years working on another game, which didn't see the light of day. Not all games get to ship.
GameX, we'll call it.
GameX, and that was tough. Like having 2 years of your life on something, pouring your heart and soul into it, and then just everyone coming to the realization that it wasn't going to work was a bit of a tough blow. I stuck around at UB for a while, sort of seeing, okay, so like what else is going on? And I have experience in the wireless space before Ubisoft. I had been at Gameloft and Airborne Entertainment, which was another wireless developer here in Montreal for a while. And I was interested in the free-to-play space, so I was talking with Yanis. He's the CEO of UB Montreal.
We love Yanis.
Yes, Yanis is awesome. And we were just sort of, chatting about different opportunities. And there was this sort of enthusiasm for me to participate in the more casual or wireless or free-to-play or Facebook or, that world. And I was looking for a change. I'd done kind of AAA for a while and just had 2 years of AAA kind of, fallout underneath me. So I was looking for a different challenge. And I started talking to a couple of different organizations, including Warner Montreal, who at the time they were a little over a year old, and they were making some noise in the city in their free-to-play space with their what we call LPWs, or light persistent worlds. And so I sent an email to Reed, just sort of saying, hey, maybe we should chat. What do you think? And he's like, yeah, come in, let's talk. So I went into their office, which at the time was in Old Montreal, and it was this tiny little space. I think I was like employee number 30 or something like that when I started. And I just became really convinced that this organization was setting itself up to succeed in a space that I really see as growing. The free-to-play space is obviously not a sort of flash in the pan. Not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I continued to talk to Ubisoft, continued to talk to Warner, and then ultimately, left UB on what I hope they'll agree is very good terms. I was just chatting with Yanis the other day.
We were just there. They've got dartboards with your face up everywhere.
Say hi to that dick Ben. Hey, do you know Ash Ismail?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Did you guys work on GameX together?
We did not work on GameX together, although my GameX was in development simultaneously with a GameX of his.
Yeah, he said he had a GameX.
Yeah,
I just talked to him.
We all had GameXs, and so I know him from our GameXs.
So I'm envisioning that when Warner Brothers was going to approach you to come aboard for Batman, you got a call on a red phone that was underneath a glass, a glass sort of case,
right, yeah.
and you picked it up and you went, "I'll be right over."
Spotlight. I mean, kind of, but I was actually I came to Warner and I was working on a free-to-play game with a very small team. I was probably like 6 or 8 people.
Yeah.
And it was a blast, right? It was like in Unity, and it was just really fun.
It's like the roots of the business.
Exactly. We were having a really good time, and then one day Reed. He's like, hey, Ben, just really quick, can I just grab you for a minute? It's like, yeah, no problem. So I went into his office. At the time, he didn't actually have an office. It was a conference room. And he said, so listen, take your time. You don't have to say yes to this. But what do you think about, being the producer on the next Batman Arkham game? We've got an opportunity to do it here in Montreal. You've got AAA experience. Seems like a logical fit. Again, take your time. You don't have to say yes to this. And I was just like, come on. Like, it's Batman. There's a couple of franchises you don't say no to in this industry, and that one's like pretty high on the list for me. So like, where do I sign?
You could have just taken your pants off and showed them how they were filled.
Oh.
Yep, could have.
Well,
didn't.
That's an exciting moment.
But why has it taken so long? Yubi had Batman. Why has it taken so long for Batman to be done?
Great question, Vic.
Correctly in the video game space.
Wow, that's a tough question to answer. I mean, I think I would like all that credit goes to Rocksteady, right? Like they kind of showed the world what a great superhero and great Batman game should be, and I keep on coming back to the number one thing that I think the lesson that they taught me the most, sort of by osmosis, right? I pick up the controller and play Arkham Asylum, and I look up 2 hours later to go to the bathroom or whatever it is, and then it was like, oh right, I'm not actually Batman. I keep on forgetting that. That game was so immersive that everything you do in that game, including hacking doors, like before that, hacking doors were like boop, boop, boop. Like, I don't know, like match the green circle with the yellow circle, right. And if you turn it red, then the door is hacked.
It was just a silly mini game.
Exactly. It was just a silly mini game. And for them, he's bringing out his cryptographic sequencer, and it's rumbling, and you've got, and it's just like, wow, even your mini games are immersive. And I remember on Project X, with my designers, including Michael McIntyre, who you guys got a chance to talk to, he was on Project X with me. I remember us sitting down and sort of like ripping Arkham Asylum apart, not just for the really traditional stuff, like everyone sort of looked at Arkham for its like free flow combat system and that kind of stuff, but we were really looking at like their menus and their mini games and all of their other supporting means that really serve to reinforce that fantasy, so that from the second you put the disc in until whenever nature called, you never broke that sense of immersion. Right. And in my humble opinion, that is what was needed to make people really buy into being a superhero.
It goes beyond that, though, and I remember being at DICE and also getting to work with the Fallout 3 team a little bit on the making of Fallout 3, is that they start the immersion into the world with marketing materials, with screenshots, in the way that everything is presented. And Batman was exactly that as well. The collector's edition, all of the Batarang, all of the effort sort of put in the conveyance of this universe and the authenticity of this universe. And that's not a bad thing to kind of step into, right?
Not at all.
But also intimidating, I would imagine.
Well, very much. I mean, anyone who says they're not intimidated on this team by the opportunity and the challenge is just lying, because for sure we knew that we were stepping into very big shoes, right? But as we've said before, it's not like it was, okay, Montreal, good luck. Here's an idea. See ya. We inherited a huge amount, right? We inherited the code and the data of Arkham City as our launching point.
Did they come out and speak with your team? Did they come and do a little presentation?
We had all the access to them that we needed from like a technical point of view, right?
Yeah.
So anytime that we had questions about, well, how does this work or how does that work? They were super available. So
can you do a Sefton Hill impression?
I can't.
No?
No,
Okay.
won't even try. I am probably the single worst accent impersonation
Vic,
guy
can you do
in the
one?
world.
He sounds like the Penguin a little bit, doesn't he?
Right.
Keep
Doesn't
going.
he?
Do
He
a little
sounds
more.
like-
Do a
So
little more.
Nolan North and Sefton Hill, right?
Yeah.
Can you do a Riddick?
I can do the sort of like Scottish Indian guy that like everything all just sort of
Okay, do
blends.
that,
I'm
do
not
that.
going to do that.
Come on, try it.
No.
Listen,
that's
no.
offending a whole bunch of cultures all
My
at once.
wife will divorce me if I go on air with my horrible accents. And I
Ben,
like my wife.
I've gotten to know you over the last couple days. We didn't have a previous relationship before that or
Well, we
anything.
But
do now.
now they've slept together.
But listen, the thing that I love about your story, and it's a great life lesson out there for people who are listening, is you just kind of, you thought your life was going to go one way, and then it just took a turn, and you kind of just stayed with it. You just kind of, and the phrase I keep going back to is just kind of pull a thread and you see where it goes. And now look at you. Look at you.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Everybody. Oh, wait, you can't look at me. This is a podcast.
Look
Listen
at this
to Ben.
picture on
Don't
the
Google
YouTube.
me, please. Don't do it.
Google Han Solo and Harrison Ford.
Look, man, I mean, can't complain, right? I mean, look, I recognize things are going well for now. Let's wait.
Downhill from here,
Let's
buddy.
see how the players react, because ultimately that's the final judge. But how to put it? The role that I played on this project and any sort of success that this project has as a result of my role is limited to what I imagine it must be to be the driver of a carriage that's being pulled by like 50 mad horses, absolutely frothing at the mouth and whipped into a frenzy. Those horses know where they want to go. They're running along a racetrack. Right. And my job is like, I've kind of got blinders, like blinkers, and maybe I can kind of steer them this way or that way, but that horse team, it's going to run its race.
I'm going to use a different metaphor.
All right,
I like that metaphor. That was good.
Well, Vic and I, we always talk about who's the Joel and who's the Ellie. Have you played The Last of Us?
I have played the heck out of The Last
Now,
of
your
Us.
work wife is Eric Holmes, kind of.
Yes,
Now,
very
who's
much.
the Joel and who's the Ellie in that relationship?
Well, obviously, he's going to say that he's the Joel. Obviously.
Of course.
Obviously. Can we both be Joels?
Double Joels. You guys.
Two Joels.
That's
That's crazy.
Lie to each other
That sounds like
Let us
horses
both-
going in
let
different
us both
directions.
Be Joel. Don't make one of us say
Look,
that
I'm the Ellie
please.
on the show, and
You're
this
the
relationship with Vic, I'm okay with that.
All right.
I'm plucky.
He's a pretty
okay,
good
you know
hunter.
What? Eric's not here. I'm gonna be the big man. I'm gonna take the Ellie. I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm the Ellie.
That's awesome.
I want this on record that I gave Eric the Joel.
Right,
That's
Eric,
very nice.
You're the Joel, Eric.
So you have a lot of people and a lot of quadrants to kind of placate here. You have Rocksteady, who doesn't want you guys to kind of take this into a direction that they weren't really prepared for. You have DC fans. You have DC corporate, you have Warner Brothers corporate.
Jesus, Vic, you're making me sweat.
I mean, honestly, does that all come into foray, and how do you kind of deal with all of those kinds of conversations?
I mean, it's surprisingly been a really, really collaborative and really good experience. And I'm not just saying that because K-How's in the room. It really,
Hi, K-How.
It really has been. Whenever I get a chance, I try and shout out to Ames Kirshen and Anthony DeLuca and all the team at Burbank, because we worked really well with those guys.
And Jeff Johns.
And Jeff Johns and Pat McCullen from DC. Yeah. We had a really, really good working relationship with that group, and it wasn't pulling teeth and fighting and whatnot. I mean, of course, there were times when we disagreed. And you know what? 90% of the time, maybe even 95% of the time, they gave us the benefit of the doubt. They would express their concern. They would explain why they were worried about decisions that we were making. Yeah. They would try and help us understand, their concerns. And if we still believed that despite all of that, it was still the right way to go, unless they absolutely couldn't do so for legal or other, reasons, they gave us the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully they'll all agree that it was, it was worth it, and that in the end the product is the right product to have been made. So it was not a process whereby we, had to get mommy to talk to daddy, but mommy and daddy wouldn't be in the same room kind of
Thank
thing.
God.
This was a very open, very collaborative process where everyone sort of respected the vision that we had and was just looking to find ways to help make that happen.
What's going to surprise people the most about Arkham Origins?
The surprises. And that sounds cheesy and kind of like a cop-out, but as much as we have been talking about this game, there is a laundry list of things that we identified in the very early days of this project that absolutely would never get talked about, would never get shown, would never get mentioned. And we really think that there's some twists and turns in this story. There's some characters, there's some appearances, there's some gameplay sequences that nobody's predicted yet. Nobody's even close, which is good. And that we're really looking forward to, October 25th, or I guess it's October 26th at 2 a.m., hammering on Twitter to see how far people are in the game and seeing if they've gotten to these big reveal moments.
Because I think it's kind of funny that they've been so forthright about the 8 assassins in the game. I'm like, you're giving away everything, but there has to be more.
Well, this only proves that we have to have you back. Maybe we'll have you and Eric Skype in, or somehow we'll get you guys back the week it launches to have a kind of discussion about some of the stuff that's out there, and we can have a little reflection, kind of look back. How does that sound?
That sounds great to me. Let's try and do that for sure.
Awesome.
Yay for Ben Mattis.
You rock, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Had fun.
So that was Mr. Ben Mattis, senior producer on Arkham Origins.
I want to be friends with him.
I know. I think he is a wonderful guy, and I think Warner Brothers had made the right choice to put him at. He's the Ellie, I think, is what he said. He said he was the Ellie on the game.
Yeah. We have to ask everyone that going forward. Right? Now, are you the Ellie or are you the Joel in the development team?
And we didn't see Eric, and Eric and I are friends. We've known each other for a long time. And he wasn't there. I was going to Montreal, and the guy takes a vacation. What the hell?
But we're going to see him, though.
We're going to see him in Japan.
Yeah, why don't we do a podcast there with him?
Okay.
How much Batman does this podcast need? Answer?
I think a lot more, as much as we can get.
There's not enough vitamin B in this podcast.
That's right, vitamin B. I like that.
Yeah.
But now we actually have to take off, and we got to go catch a plane, and we have to do the next one from Tokyo.
We are going to be in Tokyo, and we got all kinds of crazy stuff planned for the next couple of weeks. Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Can you believe this is our lives?
It's ridiculous.
Can you believe we're going to be staying in the same hotel room together? You know how small they are in Tokyo.
I know. And you're big.
And sometimes...
Maybe you stay in the hall.
Sometimes I snore out of my butt. I just... like it's...
That's called farting. Oh, you made it weird.
It's a pants snore.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you quit this morning in the studio when we realized that we were going to be sharing a room together. You quoted Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, those aren't pillows.
Those aren't pillows.
Hey, listen, we have to thank PlayStation, the PlayStation Canada.
Thank you, PlayStation.
The Sony PlayStation 4 comes out November 15th, in case you didn't know. So if you haven't pre-ordered, you're Probably SOL.
And you
but
know what?
It's going to
Also-
be an awesome system. Can't wait.
Thanks to Ubisoft Montreal.
Yes.
Thanks to Ubisoft Warner Brothers.
No, Warner Brothers Montreal. Ubisoft doesn't own Warner Brothers.
They will soon. No, and thanks to Ben Mattis
Yes,
for
for
being
being
here,
on the
who
show.
I am going to go ahead and just write some fan fiction.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants it or not, but it's going to star a character named Scott, which is not me necessarily, but
it could be.
Scott and Ben, they go on adventures together.
They go and they hang out in Montreal. You
Now I've made it really weird. At the
It's
end.
really weird. Thanks for listening, everybody.
So long, Stitcher!